Many people want to know what it is that actually makes love work. I mean, at the end of the day, when it comes to having a successful relationship, a long-term partnership, people want to know the truth. What is it that makes love successful? What is it that makes a great relationship great? A lot of people get into a relationship and it's so fun in the beginning, obviously, but then as the relationship progresses, we realize that there are all these challenges that we have to overcome. There are all these ways of being with each other and learning about each other that are just not always in the instruction manual. And a question that we get all the time at Strength of Seduction is, what makes love work? Now, I'm Daniel DiPiazza, and I am co-founder at Strength of Seduction, and we recently surveyed 17,000 African American Black couples in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, and we asked them this key question: what is the single most important element of your relationship that makes it work, and what would you like to see that would make it improve? And the answers that we got were pretty shocking and pretty, actually, enlightening when it comes to navigating your own relationship. Now, here's why this is an important question. Our company is focused on the health, the happiness, and the long-term intimacy and the love shared between Black couples. Not because we're exclusive and that our programs don't work for people of all cultures and colors and backgrounds, but because we want to champion and celebrate the fact that the Black family is strong and should remain strong. And in that, we found that there are very specific things that Black couples are doing to keep this relationship, to keep the relationships happy, healthy, and thriving. And what I found so interesting was that in over 60% of the people that we surveyed, most of them had been together over 10 years. So 60%, had been together over 10 years. And a large portion of those people had been together over 20 years. So this is information that's coming from people who have been in the game. They're not newbies in the relationship. They're not in the beginning honeymoon phase, which is a fantastic place to be, but ultimately doesn't really tell you the long-term implication of the relationship. And they found that there were 3 core traits that really helped their relationship thrive. And when these traits were there, they were present, love was abundant, intimacy was abundant, and happiness was very, very high. And when these traits weren't there, well, the opposite was true. Love was not as present, intimacy was not as present, and happiness was not as present. So what are the 3 traits? Well, the first trait is feeling seen and feeling heard. Our couples reported that when they feel seen and heard, meaning that their partner not only listens to them, but also acknowledges the things that they're doing that they love, acknowledges their presence, acknowledges their contribution, appreciates them, and shows that appreciation, not necessarily in grand gestures, but just in the everyday way of being, they reported a much greater sense of happiness and intimacy and excitement in the relationship. And so just making sure that your partner feels seen, heard, and appreciated is such an important part of building a healthy relationship that lasts the long haul. Now, the second thing that they reported was that their communication was very, very high, specifically communication in conflict, learning to deal with conflicts effectively, learning to deal with conflicts without them devolving into personal accusations, without them devolving into things where we're trying to hurt the other person. There's a difference, obviously, between having a conflict and a communication issue coming up because of the conflict and having that situation devolve into personal attacks. And we found that the couples that reported that they were able to communicate and effectively develop strategies for communicating even through conflict were the ones that were able to maintain happiness, maintain intimacy, and maintain long-term loving relationships. And that when you're in conflict, sometimes being in the middle of a heated argument and saying, you know what, let's take a pause from this, let's take a break and come back to it when we're more focused and open to each other's suggestions would be a wise opportunity, rather than just saying, hey, we're just going to go all in, we're going to throw all our cards on the table and try to win the argument. Because ultimately, if you've been in a long-term relationship, you can win a battle but lose a war. And sometimes, even if you're right in an argument, it ends up feeling very wrong. And so that's what couples reported. So the first one was feeling seen and feeling heard and feeling appreciated. The second one was communication. And then the third one, what's the third aspect of healthy, happy relationships that over 17,000 Black couples reported? And it was quality time, spending that quality time. And of course, quality time doesn't grow on trees. You have to make that quality time. So making time for romantic, intimate dates, making time away from obligations of the children, which, hey, it's all part of growing a family and raising a family, but making time for yourself, away from elements of family, just for you two to have that intimate time, just for you two to have that fun time, that laughing time, that easy flow, that easy communication, and making it a priority and making it a regular thing. We found that couples who reported being much happier, much healthier, and lasting the long term. So those are the three things that we learned. And if you want to know more about what we're developing here at Strength of Seduction, including really cool ways for you to stay close, intimate, and have a long-lasting relationship with your partner, you can go to strengthofseduction.com or subscribe on whatever channel you are watching this on. That's it. I'm Daniel DiPiazza. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.